Show you how you can create a long section of your road centerline using a plot parameter file. So what I've got here on the right hand side, I've got a section view and I've profiled the road that I wish to plot. And in this case here, it's this road here, which is RS2C01. And also I've got in this view here, I've got turned on is the tin survey, which is this grey line here, you can see. So on the section view, come up to the printer icon here and click on the long plot, and that'll open up a blank plot parameter file or a PPF file, and we can populate all the information in these boxes by using one out of the library if you don't have your own one. So you can come down here, come down to library, which stands for lib, and this is 12D's library, and click on the PWA1 basic, which is going to be an A1 sheet that we're going to use. Click on that and hit read, and that'll populate all the information that's needed to create the long section plot. Next thing we need to do is under the view here, we need to select a view that's got our string profiled, and that information will be loaded into the panel as well. So in this case I've got the long section view here, so if I click on long section, it automatically knows the string that I've profiled, RS2C01, and it's put that here as well. So next I'm going to do is copy that string name here, and I'm going to paste it up in this top area here. So now any changes I do to this file, I'm going to save it, and it'll be saved with this project, and then next time I want to plot, I can just load this plot parameter file here, which is called RS2C01. The next thing I want to do is change the model name that it's going to plot it to. I'm going to paste that in there. So I'm going to create a model called plot ls RS2C01, and it's going to be a model. I'm going to plot it to a model to start with within 12D, just so we can have a look at it. And that's all we need, and we just go down to plot, and that'll go away and create the long sections for us, and that's finished, and it said it's plotted 2 pages. Just before I close this, I'm just going to write this file to save it away. So I've written that file now. So now it's going to open up a new plan view, and I've just called this one plot LSXS, and I'm going to add that model here. So it's plotted a model, and I'm going to add that model onto this plan view. And there you have it. It's plotted the 2 sheets. It's combined them together into one model, and there's our long section plotted. Now how it's combined them into one model, it's actually merged the 2 sheets together. So if you're plotting to a model, on the left hand side here there is a plot to model tab, and if you click on that one, you can see here it's going to merge. So merge is ticked on automatically, which means it's going to merge all the sheets together into one model, and that's why we only have the one model here, but we've actually plotted the 2 sheets, and they're not on top of each other, because normally they'd plot it on top of each other. So what you can do, you can translate the sheets, and now we've translated it row wise here, and the spacing between the different sheets is 850 millimeters. So that's the distance between the start down here and the first sheet and the start of the second sheet, and that way that'll just populate as many sheets as you've got. Yeah, and there's your long section plotted. Now all these variables here, they can be changed. You can change text colors and text lines and fonts and everything. You can add more information onto this long section as well, but we'll leave that for another video at some other time. But this is just a basic understanding on how you can plot a long section fairly quickly and easily using the 12D's library. The next thing I'm going to show you now is how to plot these 2 long section plots to a DWG file. to export to a CAD program. So if we click on the plotter type icon here, we get a few more options, and there's a DWG area, and I'm going to show you the unmapped one. So select on that, and it's put the same file name as what we had before, but it's put a .dwg file extension on it. Now we can just go to plot, and it's going to plot a DWG for us. So when that's done, it's said it's plotted to 2 pages. So if we go to my working directory now, you can see it's got the 2 drawings, because there was 2 sheets for this long section for my road. It's created 2 separate DWG files. So if I open that now in BricsCAD, you'll see it'll load OK, and it looks exactly like it was in the 12D model. All the colors are the same, and there's my long section in CAD. If I check my layers, if I go to the layer, I've just got one model with all the information on this, one layer, sorry, with all the information on there. And some people are happy with that, and that's fine. Other people want it broken up into the separate layers for the different parts of the long section, and I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm just going to close that drawing there. I'll go back to 12D. So if we go back into that DWG area, there is another option there. It's the DWG sectional plot, and that's for long sections and cross sections. So if we click on that one, everything stays the same. If we just go to plot, the 2 sheets will be plotted. And now we'll go to my working directory. There they are. And now if we open that first sheet, you'll see it looks a lot different now. The colors have changed based on a map file. So that's some sort of black magic that's happening in the background. Essentially it's just running through a map file, and the map file is mapping the different colors to different layers. And using a drawing template, which I'll explain a little bit further on, a DWT file, you can set what colors you want for each layer. Now if I check my layers, it's broken up into a lot more layers. There's probably more layers here than I need. So if I just do a purge to purge all the layers that are empty, and I go back into my layers now, I'll just have a smaller group of layers, and it's broken it up into the different components. So there's my design surface, which is red, and there's my survey, which is grey, which is a dashed line, and so forth. Different colors for the different layers that it's broken it up into. And yes, and some people are after that, and then that way they can change the layers in CAD for the different parts of the long section to their CAD standards, what they need. Yeah, and that's essentially how you create a long section straight into a DWG from that panel there. So what I'm going to show you now is how you can plot these 2 long sections onto one DWG file, rather than having the 2 separate long sections on separate drawings. So what we'll do, we'll come back to my plot parameter file, we'll just go back to 12D, and that's where the model is, and we can just plot that. And that's essentially just going to plot this again like we did initially. So instead of plotting it through this method here, like I just showed you, we're going to output this. So we're going to go under File, Data Output, and we're going to go into DWG. And we're going to write a DWG file of this model here. So what model do we want to write out? That's the model there. So that's that one model here that we have with both long sections on there, in this case 2 sheets. So I need to give it a file name. I'm going to copy and paste that in there. So that's going to be my file name, my DWG file name. I'm going to change that to 2D, and I'm just going to write that file. Yep, so that file has been written. So if I can go to my working directory now, and there's my new file there. And if I open that file, So now I've got the one DWG file with the two long section sheets, and that's fine, and that's worked perfectly. So if I check the layers now on that one, again, because we just did a straight output, it's put it on the layer name. It was the model name in 12D, so it's all into one model, which is probably not ideal. We probably want to break it up like we did before using the sectional plot, and I'll show you how you can do that. So let's close that one. So back into 12D now. Before we do the next export, I might choose to turn the title block border off the next plot, just so we just get the pure long sections, not the title block. So if I can do that by going into my plot parameter file, and I just want to turn off that use title block, and just go back to plot, and now the long sections will be plotted a second time, and now the title block hasn't been plotted, and I'm happy with that. So let's export this one out. So come back to to minimize that, just come back to my right DWG panel from before. So what I want to do now, I want to introduce a map file in this field here. So I don't have a map file here that I can select, so I'm going to just create one from scratch, and I'll show you how to do that. This one I'm just going to call plot long section, and I can use this same map file for multiple long sections on different roads. Come up to the envelope here and just go to open, and that's going to create a blank map file for me. And the quickest and easiest way is to populate. So what we want here, we want to populate the different names of these strings here. So let's just zoom in here. I'll just show you this one. So if I select on the design surface there, you'll see the name is PPF design, and this one's PPF survey surface. So that's what I'm looking to populate, all the different names of all the different elements in this long section plot, and then we're going to map it to an AutoCAD layer. So the easiest way to do that, if we click on this 12D name here and do a right mouse, we can populate the names, and we want to populate the names from a model that we already have, and the model is the long section model here, and I just go to populate and finish that. And now all the two names that I showed you before are here, plus all the other names as well for the text and the uprights and the boxes and so forth. And what I'm going to do here, so they're all the 12D names, so I'm just going to copy all of those and just paste them into the, what's the auto, or this says what's the CAD, the ACAD layer name that you want. So I'm just going to copy and paste all of them, and I'm just going to take this PPF off the front. It doesn't mean much, I guess. Doesn't need this PPF. So that's 12D's standard naming convention for the long sections, and PPF, I guess, stands for the plot parameter file. So I've taken all those PPF names off the front of those, and the one I'll add here is design surface to be consistent with the survey here. So I've got my 12D name in this column, I've got my ACAD layer name in this column, and then the other columns I'm just going to do this by layer. So just let the CAD program worry about the colors and the line styles, and I'll show you how we can do that. So I just want to copy those 3 lines and just paste those down to the other lines here. And that's our map file written essentially. So now we just need to write that file, and that's done that. We can just finish on that. And now if we click in the map file area here, we've got this plot ls ACAD map file that we can select. So now if we do the write of the DWG file, we'd read it before, so we're going to overwrite that and say yes. Now we can open it. We can actually open it from here as well, and that's the one we want, and we can just go down to open. And that's opened it in your CAD package, and you can see all the lines are white. And let's check the layers, and now you can see instead of having that one layer that we did before, we've got the separate layers here for the design surface and the survey surface and all the text and the uprights and the boxes and so forth. And it's all white because when you create a new layer in CAD, the default color is white. That's why everything's white. So that's how you can get the separate layers. So the next step I'll show you is how we can use a DWT, a template file, where we can select the different colors for the different layers, and I'll show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to erase all the information on this drawing here. So what I've left with is just the layer structure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and start to change the colors for this one here, and just put the different colors that I need. So I'm just going to go down to here and just change that, say, to yellow. Boxes can stay white. The design surface can be red. The survey I'm going to change to a sort of a browny color, and the symbols can be yellow, and the three text layers I'm just going to have cyan, and just say green for that one, and this one we'll leave that as white, and the uprights I'm going to change that to this grey color. So I've effectively just changed all those colors manually, and I can change the line style if I want as well. Maybe I can change the survey surface here line style to a dashed instead of a continuous line. So I'm happy with that. So from this now, I'm going to save this file as, come into here, save as, and I'm going to change it to a drawing template, a star.dwt file. And this one I'm just going to call it again plot ls. I'm just going to take that road name off there. Yep, and I'm going to save that, and that'll be saved in my working directory, so I'll just close that file for now. So back into 12D. Now that I've got my drawing template, I can select that in here. Now I've got the plot long section DWT and the map file that we created. So now if we do a right and create our long section, yep, we want to replace the existing file, and let's take a look at it now. If we go to open, and now then it's no longer white. We've got all our different colors that we selected for each layers, and it's all looking nice and pretty. And now, and there's the layers that we created using the map file, and these are the colors that I just set up using the DWT file. And that's how you can create different layers with different colors for your long sections. So back into 12D now. I'll just show you one last thing before we finish off this section, just to show you how you can save these panels and then the information that's in them. So next time you want to plot your long section, you don't have to open up a new one and then fill out all the information again over and over again. Just a quicker way. So we can save this panel by, so this will work on any 12D panel. If you click on the cube here on the top left and go dump, and it's going to create a little SLX file, a screen layout file with all the information saved, and the default name it gives it is the same name as the panel. So I'm just going to take that last bit out there. I'm just going to call it right DWG, and this is for plotting long section for that road there. Plot long section RS2CO1, and I'm just going to dump that out and finish. And now if I finish this panel, next time I come and I want to plot out my long sections again, I can go under File And to recall these panels, it's under layout, layout input, and there's my file, screen layout file, which I just created, and it brings back the panel exactly as I had it, with all the information filled out again, and then I can plot my long section out at another time quite easily. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was useful.